All right, welcome back, everyone, to Over the Moon. Today we have special guest Jani Cummings, GM for Prairie Moon Casino. Proud to have her on the show. All right, we're going to ask some questions to Jani, get to know her. Go ahead and start with Nate.
Yeah, well, Jani, just first off, thank you for being here on our second show. This is very exciting for us. So,
Thanks.
first question I got for you. What inspired you to pursue a career in the casino industry, and how did you get started?
Well, it was not something I ever planned on when I was growing up because there were no casinos in Minnesota, and it wasn't a career role for females, certainly at that point in time. I was off one summer after a bad car accident, and my sister-in-law asked me if I would fill in for her at a local reservation where she was an administrative assistant. She wanted to spend the summer with her daughter. And I said, okay, I'll earn a few dollars and work a few months. And I worked with the Fond du Lac Reservation Business Committee, Minnesota Chippewa Tribe. That started as a summer job, and I stayed for 8 years. And the chairman asked me one day if I knew anything about bingo. I said, well, I know how to play it, and it's fun. And they'd have it at the local VFW. And he said, well, can we figure out a way to bring that to the reservation and get some money for the tribe and cultural programs? And I thought, how hard can that be? Sure. So we actually kind of teamed up and checked out a couple other places. Tribe in Michigan was doing some bingo, starting that up. Mind you, this is all pre-Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, so we were flying by the seat of our pants, literally. But I kind of copied what they did at the VFW, found out where they bought their bingo boards and their daubers and their equipment and pull tabs, which were also a really big deal back in the 80s and late 70s. So we started up in the preschool that was part of the reservation, and we were the staff that worked there at day were the bingo staff at night. And we also did the deposits, we did the cashiering, I was the cashier, and we raised enough money so that we could help support a community development block grant that the tribe had us writing under CETA program and HUD to build a community center / cultural center / gymnasium, and we used that as our first big bucks bingo hall. And we did very, very well. Pull tabs did great. We made a lot of money to the point where the tribe was able to purchase a 4-story Sears building in downtown Duluth that had been vacated. And we turned that into probably the very first gaming casino in Minnesota. It was called Fond Duluth Gaming Casino, and worked there for almost 3 years as first operations manager and then as the general manager. That's how I got started. I certainly didn't plan to. And from there, actually, a friend of mine that I worked with at Fond du Lac, she moved to Washington, D.C. to work for the CETA program and married the gentleman that became the chairman of the Mashantucket Pequot tribe in Connecticut. And she brought him back to Duluth to her tribe, and he asked if I would come out and help them to begin writing internal controls for their bingo hall and hopefully get into Class 3 gaming. Well, that was in 1988, and that was the beginning of my real career in casino gaming.
That's really interesting. I'm impressed. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, back then, who ever heard of bingo and it's still a big thing.
It is.
People still like to play bingo.
Them pull tabs are still pretty popular.
Oh, yes, they
too.
are.
Those things are making a huge comeback right
Yes, they are.
Well, in a small town environment, it was tiny. We were out in Fond du Lac, which is basically reservation property. It was as much of a social experience as it was a gaming activity, and it was also to make money for the tribe. So there was culture involved as well. We were all brand new. It's not like anybody was standing there with a book in their hands. There was no book. There wasn't even a lot of regulation at that point. But it was fun. It was somewhere to go in the evening that didn't cost a lot of money, and it was exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Picking your brain further, Jani, about the regulation, was it like the Wild Wild West, or?
No, you don't know what you don't know. We knew we had to have inventories that we matched cash to. The deposits had to balance, but as far as a lot of the true Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, there were no policies like that in place. We had our internal policies, but we learned and we wrote as we learned. So I think we were kind of pioneers in that respect because Indian gaming was not a thing. There was Atlantic City and there was Las Vegas, and there was nothing in between. So I was in the Midwest.
So over the years of your career, what's some obstacles as a female in the leadership role have you encountered and overcome?
Don't you belong in HR?
Right.
Shouldn't you be in marketing? Oh, are you the secretary?
Right.
You get talked down to. You get talked over. You're not taken seriously sometimes. You're not included. It's you hear things like, "Oh, are you going to cry?" I mean, those are things that you had to put up with. But I learned you don't ever let people know where your buttons are. You do not wear your feelings on your sleeve because people will take advantage of you, and that could be a weakness. So that's your own fault. You have to hold your ground. You have to fight your own battles. You can't have somebody at your back doing it for you because you're never going to be respected. So, yes, things have improved a lot.
Right.
But there's still a glass ceiling. It's still tough to get into the industry unless you
Yes.
know somebody or you worked your way up and refuse to be pushed back. Or you're a loudmouth. Or maybe you have a really good personality. Or maybe you're like me and you're all of the above.
And that you are.
Okay, thank you.
All of the above.
Yes, for sure.
Yes,
All right,
definitely.
Jani, what achievements are you most proud of during your time as GM?
Well, I was very privileged to have the opportunity to work with 4 different tribes as an employee and to help them build a true economic engine which provided a sustainable income for their tribes for now and future generations. That was really something that was satisfying and empowering to me, to know I was going to be a part of something that was going to last. This isn't for me. This is for a whole nation, basically, for generations to come. That's very humbling and yet very satisfying. And then teaching the basics of gaming to the younger generations, that really gave me a sense of, wow, I am helping. This is part of leadership, is to pass on your knowledge, your experience, create opportunities for them, for their families, for this community. That was huge for me. And also to be able to work with some of the less privileged or people that didn't have any confidence in themselves. They needed somebody to take them by the hand and say, you can do this.
Right.
Or you're going to do this, and I'm going to help you. That was also great. Those 2 things really went hand in hand, and I loved and still love every minute of that.
I'm about to say that's a natural quality of yours, just being able to help somebody along without just doing it for them. Like over the years, you've taught me a lot and you've helped me a lot. So,
Oh, good.
And
Thank you.
I've learned a lot from you, not by asking questions, by watching you.
Big brother, big sister's over here. Well, that's good.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch. You might not think I'm paying any attention because I'm always all over the place, but I do. I pay attention. How you handle certain situations. I have to remind myself to think before I speak. I don't always do that. So, but I try real hard sometimes.
We don't always any
Think
of us.
before I speak.
We all have that difficulty because some things attack us more personally than others. And
Right.
I have to go to the balcony, which is my catchphrase, in order to get control because that's part of professionalism too. Is you're the role model, whether you like it or
Right.
not. People are going to
Right.
be watching what you do, and people are going to be watching for you to make a mistake and screw up, and they'll remind you of it. So, and by golly, I'm as human as the next person, and I'm the first one to say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm about to make some major mistakes here. And I'll probably make them 2 or 3 times before I figure it out. But I'll figure it out. The only way that I can learn is by doing it myself.
Right.
You can't tell me, well, you need to go and do this and this and this. No, I'm going to do it. And then you can come back and tell me what I did wrong, and I'll try it again until I get it right. But I'm going to make mistakes, and so is everybody else.
Right. Right. So, besides your successful career, what else makes Jani happy?
What makes me happy?
Yes.
Puppies.
Yeah, let's talk about your puppy.
I have an Australian Shepherd that is my best friend, and she's as pretty close to a human as you can get because she knows how you feel and when you need her,
Right.
and when she needs to make you play and roll around on the floor and act stupid and do yoga with me. And yes, that makes me very happy. Taking pictures with light and sound makes me happy. Watching other people being joyful makes me happy. Weird things make me happy, but
That's okay.
Hey, everybody's got their thing that makes them happy.
That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right.
Looking forward to each new day and knowing I'm awake and alive makes me happy.
So, what's one of your biggest pet peeves you got?
If people spend as much time trying to find a solution and working through something as they do looking for excuses and making complaints about something, boy, the world would be a much better place. It's just as it takes more time, I think, to find an excuse for it than to try it. Maybe you can do it. You don't know. You never tried.
Yeah.
So I hate it when somebody says, "Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm too old. I'm not good enough. I'm too slow." Seriously? Is there a stopwatch going on here? Because I didn't see it. Get out there and try it. You don't know what you don't know until you try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big stumbling block for me when I was younger. I was always like, didn't want to try things, and my dad was one that pushed me. He goes, "Go try it. You don't know if you're gonna like it or not till you do it." And so
Right.
that is something to this day I still have to remind myself about. Sometimes it's like if I'm unnervous, I'm just like, but I don't know until I try it. Like
Right.
going on that cruise, honestly, I was nervous. I didn't want to do it because I was afraid to get on that boat.
I still won't do it.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. No.
I did.
I won't.
Got a tattoo also when I was in my 50s, and I don't regret it one bit. It was on my bucket list, and yes, I have a tattoo. Yes.
Wow.
Try
wow.
it. You're going to love it.
I have one. Thank you. Yes.
All right, Jani, if you could go back and give advice to your younger self at the start of your career, what would it be?
It's not for everybody. You're going to work nights and weekends and holidays, and your schedules aren't always going to best suit your personal life, especially if you're young or single. But you have to compromise, and so do we. We try and work schedules to help, but we can't always do it like a all-night gas station or a hospital. Sometimes you just don't get that choice. You have to
Right.
staff your business. And you're either going to love this daily interaction and constant people and noise and lights, or you're going to hate it. But you're going to know within 48 hours if it's going to be a good fit for you or not. And then you need to be patient with yourself. People figure they can come in the door, and I've learned how to do this and this and this, and now I'm ready to be not just a bartender, but I'm going to be the operations manager or the GM, and I've got a year of experience, so what? There's a lot more to it, especially in an industry that is so highly regulated as gaming, and it is, as it should be. But it's more than just learning the games and the floor and the promotions. You, in a small facility, you have to be willing to work in any capacity that's necessary, because it's not just one person's job, it's everybody's job to make it successful. So you've got to be all in, or don't come in at all as a career. There's a lot of other areas where you can help and be in a social environment and still make money for the business that you're working at. So you have to be committed, and your work-life balance is probably going to go to pieces every once in a while because you're going to
yeah.
get called in.
Yes.
But that's the nature of this business. And if you're a people person, it's probably a good fit.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to enjoy customer service, that's for sure.
You got
That's
to like
for sure.
people. Yeah.
You have to like people.
Yeah.
All people.
Yes.
And as many different backgrounds of people you have coming in, it's
Have to treat them the same.
yep. And
You can't judge them. You can't
No.
tell what guy's got 3 commas in their bank account balance and who has nothing but what's in their pockets. You cannot judge a book by its cover in this business.
No.
you certainly can't. And everybody's their own person, and there's nobody's. It's not a cookie cutter thing. So that's one thing I like about it is just interacting with all the different types of guests and everything. It
Yeah.
brings something new to every day. So
Boy, does it.
Yes, it does. It does.
so how do you think Indian gaming has changed over time from over the years, from now until when you started?
Oh my goodness. There's been tremendous change. It literally did start with bingo and evolved into pull tabs were kind of like the first slot machines for tribes because that was a form of gambling, of course. And then back in the days, you had slot machines that took buckets of coin and currency, and you had coin people walking around the floor, and that was a big job for a lot. And then it switched to tickets, and I thought, and I was one of them, like, oh my God, people are never going to go for this. They want to put those quarters in the machine and carry those buckets to the cage, and
They want all the quarters to fall out and go
yeah,
clean,
and
clean,
your
clean. Yeah.
hands are black because you were handling
Yes.
those nickels,
Yes.
and yeah, that's all changed.
Yeah, Janie, how much of it was it a nightmare for drop to handle coins?
It was horrible. It was heavy. And there were your people that carried belts of coin on the floor. That was a horrible job, but somebody had to do it. You wanted to keep your people at the games, just like we do now. But the whole environment has changed. It's not just a Vegas experiment anymore. It's a locals place. It's a community center. It's a senior lunch place. It's an event place. You know, we do charitable things. And the technology on the games and on the back end and the servers and the cloud storage and the regulations and surveillance, honestly, people have no idea the true back of house complexities of a good gaming casino because you're not supposed to see it. But it's there.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated.
Tremendous change, yes. And the money and the competition. Used to be Atlantic City and Las Vegas, and then you had maybe Seminoles and Minnesota and Michigan got involved in gaming. And now I think there's maybe 3 states that don't have it, and that's about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just amazing. And, you know, you talked about the customers. Being in food and beverage, you know, we have senior day on Sundays. But, you know, the seniors are welcome any day, but that's their special day.
Right.
Okay. But I have noticed the other days, those seniors have all made new friends.
Yep. It's social
They sit and
environment.
visit with the person next to them because they see them on pretty much every day that they come.
Right.
It's like they almost have it scheduled when they're coming. And they visit. I see them showing each other pictures of their families, their grandkids. So a casino, like you said, is almost like a community center
It is.
with games to play, something to do.
And it doesn't have to cost
Entertainment.
you a lot of money.
No, it don't.
You decide what your wallet is for that day. Maybe you center it around lunch with your niece or nephew or grandkids or neighbor or just by yourself. It doesn't matter. And then you play a little bit. Maybe if it's music night, you hang around and listen to some good music.
Right.
You get out of the house. Maybe you're recently widowed and you feel lonely, and this is a good place to go to just be and not feel bad. And it's more than just a place that takes your money. It really does have a social atmosphere to it. And we also have a responsibility to make it safe and comfortable and a fun
Right.
environment.
Right.
Because they're basically paying to come here.
Right.
And we're the entertainment some nights.
Oh,
So-
yes, we are.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Yeah.
we do it well.
So, but that's part of our job is we want them to come back.
Right.
It's just part of our livelihood as well. The better we treat them and the more comfortable they feel, the more they'll come back with friends, and the reputation is what's going to keep our doors open.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's definitely part of the community, like you said, because I see them here, but when I go to the Walmart, when I go,
Yes.
I see the same people
Grocery
out and about.
stores. Oh, hi, Nate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so there's that interaction outside of the casino too with these people, and it's
Yeah.
it just makes it all worth it because normally if I'm at the grocery store, I'm usually with my wife and daughter, and so
Right.
now they know my family a little more, and
Right.
so it just all.
Have you ever gotten the, oh, they let you out?
Yeah,
I get that pretty regular.
I get that one quite frequently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you play at another casino, because we can't, we don't play where we work,
Right.
but we play at another casino where they'll come and tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, which are the good machines? You should know. You work in the industry," which is kind of humorous.
I know.
Because, sorry guys, I have no inside information.
No.
Don't copy me.
Ever since we did that Facebook video about the jackpot button,
Yes.
without
great.
fail, every time I go to another casino, if someone's seen that video, they'll ask me, "Hey, did you bring an extra button with you?" So yes.
Cool.
Sorry, James.
So what advice would you give young people entering the gaming industry, Jani?
Take your time. Enjoy your work. Be yourself. You're not a clone. Be honest and put your foot out there and meet people and offer to help some of them. Everybody's just as unsure as you are when you first start here. Everybody needs a little boost of confidence and some support. You have to help everybody along the way. People come here not just to have a job, but so that they can build a circle of friends too. And maybe they do want to make this their career. That's great. There's a lot of casinos in the state of Oklahoma, so there's a lot of opportunity as well. And this is a great place to get your start. Start small, learn as much as you can, and then you can move up from there.
Okay. So, question for you now. What does trust mean to you in your role?
It doesn't come with your title. Just like respect, you have to earn it. Sometimes you have to earn it over and over again. And trust is really important because you can't be a good leader if people don't feel comfortable with your decisions or following you. So you build that by walking the walk and talking the talk and being your original sincere self. If you're going to try and pretend that you know something, it's going to show up pretty quickly and
Right.
pretty clearly. So trust is important. I have to trust my employees and my managers more than ever because in an operation like this, you all are going to have to pick up the reins and the pieces at times. You can't do it all, nor should you try because you're going to screw it up if you do. So trust that you have the right people beside you, behind you, and in front of you because we're going to keep trading those places as we grow with this business. It's just the way it is. Be nice to people on your way up. You're going to need them on your way down.
Okay. What is your opinion of confidence in your role?
We're all going to have doubts about things from time to time, and you're going to make mistakes. I certainly do. The one thing that I've learned is be confident in how you portray yourself in front of your audience, whether you're on a microphone in front of a stage or if you're talking at the conference table to your employees or your board of
Right.
directors. If you're unsure about your own abilities and you're hesitant about making decisions, that's going to show. Your body language is going to scream it, and people are going to pick up on that. That makes you very vulnerable. So you need to be a little bit careful. It's okay to be human and show emotions from time to time, but you need to also show your strength, your leadership qualities, and your emotional intelligence. You are the person that they're placing their confidence to keep this business going, and that is your job. So you need to maintain that look of confidence, and if it means you've got to go back to school or do your research, then do it.
Right.
Because you don't know everything, and the way things keep changing in this industry, you have to keep learning. But that kind of keeps you young, keeps your brain active.
It
It's a
sure
good thing.
does
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
All right, Jani, how do you handle stress in your role?
I go to the gym at least 4 days a week, and I have to go to the gym before I'm allowed to go home. That's my rule. And I work out hard so that I kind of get rid of all that before I walk in the door.
How long have you been working out?
Oh my gosh. Started teaching yoga back in Connecticut, so probably 25 years. I didn't work out when I was younger. I was active, but I didn't work out. Didn't start working out until I was probably in my, well, I take that back. After I was in a bad car accident and I fractured my femur in 3 places and broke all my ribs, I had to work out. I had to get my strength back. And it taught me a good lesson. It's like, you have muscles that you've never used before. Did you even know they were there? Maybe you should try this. And as you age, I think it's important to maintain your strength and your balance and all that kind of stuff. And I do yoga with my dog. I mean, she's really good at it. She teaches me poses and how to do them. It's great. And I garden. I love to play in the dirt. Even here at work, some days if things get to be too heavy on my mind, I will walk around the building and I'll pull weeds. I can't help it. It's going to happen. So I go back to nature. I like to be outside or in the gym. That's how I get rid of my stress.
So I know sometimes it's hard to motivate yourself to get in the gym, right? So how do you motivate yourself to get in the gym?
I'm very stern. You're not going home until you go to the gym. Now stop it. Yeah. And sometimes I'll give myself a treat, like, well, if you go to the gym for an hour and you have a really decent dinner, then maybe you can go to the casino for an hour.
Yeah.
So I treat myself. I'm not that hard, but I see people a lot younger than me in wheelchairs sometimes, and I know some of it can't be helped, but other times it's because people just don't take care of themselves. And my mother lost her left leg to circulatory disease because she was alone and didn't see the purpose in getting up and moving very often. And I don't think that should ever have to happen to somebody if we help them and if you help yourself. I used to help teach some circulatory classes in diabetics, simple yoga routines just to help them to keep their limbs moving and the blood flowing. And I want to be an example. I don't want to be a statistic. So, yeah, I work out. See that?
It's great. We work out here, too, at work, walking from one side of the building to the other, back to that side, over to this side, around that
Yep,
side.
clearing the tables, dumping the
Yeah,
trash.
getting a customer a drink. And
Pulling weeds, I know.
yeah, we do pretty good here.
So, what are you good or bad at saying no to?
I cannot say no to Reese's peanut butter cups. There you know my weakness. Or big-eyed, sad-eyed puppies. I can't say no to somebody that is disabled and helpless or so depressed and down that they don't know where to turn. Those are things I can't say no to. I can't. I can't turn my back on somebody that really needs help.
Right.
So it's just not going to happen. I might be doing it anonymously, but I'm going to help.
Yeah.
Except I won't pay your bail bonds or your gambling debts.
So we can't call you to bond us out?
No.
So we'll be at work the next day?
Well, if you're having that good a time, I might be there with you. So
Oh, okay. That is true.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Any additional questions, comments, concerns, Nate, Pam?
You kind of touched on my burning hot question we didn't practice for here.
what's that?
Yes.
Gardening. Do you just like gardening with flowers? Do you like growing vegetables? Like what's your favorite thing to do gardening wise?
I do it all. I
She
don't
does
mind.
it all.
I don't mind getting my hands dirty a bit. I will dig that garden from scratch. I will amend the soil. I will put in perennials. I will put in annuals. I will put in vegetables. My flower gardens have dill and parsley as their border, and I've been known to feed the rabbits too. There's a section for them. And I do flower gardens and grass gardens, perennial gardens as well. And I cut my own lawn. I do my own trim work. And then if my neighbors haven't done theirs, I just go over and do theirs too, because I want that whole 3 yards to look really, really good, and they know it.
Yeah.
And I don't mind doing it. And I'll come to work and plant the flowers out front too, and I have.
So, if you ever retire, you would be the perfect person to work in a Lowe's garden.
Yeah.
Because I go there and I have questions, and I get the, well, I'm not sure. I think they were over there. I don't even know if we sell this. And I'm like, yeah, you sell it.
It's in the ad.
Where's it at? So, somebody that likes gardening would be an ideal person.
That's true. Or doggy daycare.
Or a doggy daycare. You could open your own.
I could work at a casino too.
You could. Why would you?
I don't know.
Miss it? Yeah, well, when that day comes, that's another story.
Senior Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, you come in on my senior Sunday, so I'll feed you.
All right, Jani. I have a question. Who was the best boss you've worked for and why?
Oh, that's a no-brainer. His name was Bill Sherlock, and he was president and CEO, one of the ones I worked for at Foxwoods. And he was real. He was genuine. He was great. He had opened like the MGM Grand and some other huge properties. But I remember him complimenting me, and I was brand new in this business. We had a bomb threat in the casino, and we were supposed to have a big event with the seniors on stage that day. And we were trying to figure out, well, what do we do? And I just picked up the microphone and started walking toward the other end of the casino like Pied Piper saying, got a special had been a jury today, and we're going to walk down this way and try blah, blah, blah. And he typed me this little handwritten note that said, wow, that was awesome. Talk about a hidden gem. I framed that. I still have that. And he taught me the power of complimenting, thanking, and empowering others. And it was an act I didn't have time to get permission to do what I did, but he supported it. And that he's forever going to be my favorite boss.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool. Speaking of empowering, big kudos to you, Jani. You are the actual reason why we have this podcast show. You empowered us. You let us run
Yes.
with it.
Yep.
So big kudos to you.
Thank you.
Big
I
kudos
enjoyed it.
and big thank yous.
Thank you.
Yes.
Big
You too.
thank yous.
You're welcome.
Big thank you.
My
All
pleasure.
right. This wraps it up. Appreciate you, Jani, coming on. And stay tuned for the next show. Like and subscribe. Keep up to date what's happening at Over the Moon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.